Good morning, everybody. This is Roger Cotton from the Peter Green Splinter Group. Here we are in the Kent Delta recording the new Barcodes Blues album with some wonderful players on it, and hope you're going to enjoy it when old Bob gets his hands on it. He said Bob is tall, good-looking and incredibly available. So there you are. Okay, so listen in. Good morning, Blues. UK Bob, WRFG 89.3 FM. Take it easy. Or as B.B. King once said to me, who are you?
Tomatoes hanging there on the vine. The moon is hanging up in the sky. My baby loves me. Oh, life is fine. Hound dog lying here at my feet. Little one is sound asleep. My baby loves me. Oh, life is sweet. And we don't care when the sun don't shine. She says that doesn't matter. She'll love me when I'm old and fat and getting fatter. Appreciating how the moon does shine, sitting and listening to some old John Browne. My baby loves me. Oh, life is fine. The fish are biting and the beer is cold. The night is young and the bourbon's old. My baby loves me. Oh, life is gold. And we don't care when the cold wind blows. We just snuggle closer. And when I say I love you most, she says I love you moster.
Good Morning Blues on a Thursday. My great delight to let you have a conversation with Mr. Tom Rush. How you doing, Tom?
I'm living the dream. How about you?
Me too. When you get married 3 times, you finally get it right. And it actually says in my bathroom, here I am living the dream. The fact that my third wife put it there has nothing to do with it, but there we go. The number one thing that I find maddening about Tom Rush is that 55 years of performing, you have a voice of a 35-year-old, and you're going to be 80 next month. Who did you pay off to make that happen?
I actually am 35. I think there's a mistake. There's a mistake in my birth certificate. I was actually mortified. I'm mortified that I am older than Joe Biden, but I'm even more mortified that I'm older than Bernie Sanders.
Ooh.
How could this happen?
I want to know who you've hired to make your custom mittens.
Those were some kind of mittens, weren't they?
Oh, that cracked me up all through the night. I've had, even some of the big bands in the world have put out their band picture with Bernie sitting in front of the drum kit. my friends at Folkhat in New York were one of the first to do it. Cranked me up. But yeah, no, I think you sound terrific. I was just listening to Voices from 2018 and some recent things on Patreon, which we're about to talk about. And if I just if I turn away, you absolutely sound 35. And I guess that's what I tell people too when the age thing comes up. If someone has to ask me that, I say, well, I identify with 37. And that's kind of like, I'm actually going to be 65 when your birthday is. And it feels very weird to me because I don't think that way at all. But there you go. But the good news is that it means that you can get away with it.
I think
to me,
go ahead.
you have a very unique DNA in that your guitar, your voice, your lyrics are all unique, and they have their own stamp, as does a Gordon Lightfoot. And you stand out that way. When you think about it, there's an awful lot of singers, songwriters, storytellers, people out there, and it's pretty cool that you have your stamp in each of those things. And that's one of the first things that comes to mind when I play through the music. So it's wonderful that we get to chat this morning and let our audience know what it is you're up to. So I guess one of the early things I thought about asking you is, do you still consider yourself folk blues as it was back in the 60s, or did you leave that behind? Because what I heard on Voices was all kinds of everything, rock and roll, Americana, a huge variety.
Well, I've always done that, and it can be kind of confusing, I think, on some of the early albums especially. But back when I was starting out, I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, an undergraduate, and hanging out in the folk clubs. And there were people who did nothing but Delta blues, and there was one guy who did nothing but Woody Guthrie songs, and somebody else would do only Irish Scottish ballads. And I was a generalist in a field of specialists. I would pick one from here and one from there, and when I'm on stage, there's a visual continuity that ties it all together. On an album, it kind of sounded like maybe there were 5 or 6 people here. And the storytelling part, I got into that because I learned very early on that if the audience likes you, they are much more apt to like the song you're about to do. So I would try to be charming and tell them a story, sometimes about the upcoming song, sometimes about something unrelated, but try to draw them in, engage them, and then do the song. And it works well. It works well. And that's partly why I miss the audience so much with this COVID thing and no shows happening. I really do miss, getting on stage and being able to interact with a crowd of actual live people.
I think they get it a lot more, whatever you choose to play, whether it's serious or amusing or melancholy, or on the occasion that you cover someone else. I think if they're watching you and that you're engaging them, I think they're far more absorbed by the music. So, yeah, I get that. We have a couple of great places here in Atlanta that are perfect for you. So hopefully when things get rolling again, you can include us on your trip. There's a couple of songs where probably the first one I'm going to play in a few minutes, where you mention Atlanta quite a bit, and there are several songs about the South, but these days you predominantly play up in New England. Is that accurate?
Not entirely. There are pockets around the country. The Northeast is definitely home base for me, but I go to Florida. I play in Decatur at Eddie's Attic on a regular basis on my way to Florida or on my way back. I play in North Carolina. I play in the Midwest, California, the Northwest. Not so much in the deep South. But then there's England and Canada. Haven't been to Australia for a while, but I do some international stuff as well. It's fun.
Yeah, Eddie's Attic is one of the two I was going to mention, perfect for you. And I saw later this year you've got a Clearwater gig, and I said to myself, sounds to me like you have no reason not to stop here or somewhere on that trip. But, it's something that I look forward to. Never seen you myself play live. We got to fix that. But in the meantime, Patreon, which some of my musical guests and people that I'm fans of they've got a platform going there. Yours, I particularly like Rockport Sundays because it's a consistent thing. People know if they subscribe that they're going to get something unique that's just for them, that only they can access. Tell me what the plan is. Are you going to continue with the theme of Rockport Sundays? And what's the exact address for your link?
Well, I think what I've been doing, Bob, is sending people to tomrush.com. That's easy to remember.
It is.
And there's a link there that will take you over to Rockport Sundays at Patreon. And the deal is, it's pretty darn simple. It's a $10 a month subscription, and every Sunday I will send you a new video that I've video recorded in my kitchen. It's very, very casual. I haven't done anything in my pajamas yet, but you never know. And then sometimes I've got this brilliant guy named Matt Nakoa who accompanies me on keyboard and harmonies. And when he's with me, we move into the living room because the kitchen isn't big enough for his keyboard. And I've done quite a few things with him. But it's a new song every Sunday, or maybe sometimes I tell a story. I just told the one last Sunday. I told the story about Clint Eastwood and the hashish brownie that people seem to enjoy a lot. And then there's a library of the past 8 weeks. And I think we've actually just filled that library, or we're just about to fill it this coming Sunday. And then going forward, the oldest installment will be taken down to make room for the newest one. But, you know, when you sign up, you immediately get access to eight installments, 8 songs or stories. Or I also am occasionally reading pages from a book I'm writing called Roadmap, which is basically an explanation of why you probably don't want to be a touring musician.
Yes.
And I'm having a lot of fun writing it, and I'm hoping it's interesting to people who have more sense than to even think about becoming a traveling musician. But it's kind of a backstage tour of what goes on and what can go wrong.
Well, when you think about it, that's great value. If you've got a constant, a cumulative rotating library of 8 pieces, it's $1 a piece for something very unique, high quality and original, whether it's a great story or a song. I will remind listeners those of you that have not joined Patreon, how it works is you join and become a member for whoever you want to support. So you have an ID and a password that lets you in, and then you select Tom Rush or go through his website. If you're already a member, you don't have to join anything. You just have to sign in order to subscribe. So it's a central database in that respect. It's not every artist you've got to sign in and create anything. That's one of the easy things about it. And if you do it the early part of the month, you get better value. But I think $1 for something cool from you, you can't beat that.
People, the feedback I've been getting is not quite as good as live applause in a concert hall, but it's been very supportive. People are really, really enjoying it. You've made my Sundays the best day of the week and stuff like that. It's heartwarming. I remember, I've got to give you a little story about it. The last time I remember playing Atlanta proper was at the Great Southeast Music Hall, which I think is long gone now.
Yes, I got here in '84, and it wasn't here then.
Yeah, it was a big club, a somewhat rowdy club. So I'm up on stage playing, and there's all these people in the front row sitting on the floor, being rowdy and noisy, and I'm making remarks about them, like, see what happens when cousins marry, stuff like that. And then the lights come up, and the front row is full of these guys in black leather and chains. It's a bike gang.
Oh my gosh!
That I've been insulting. And I left the stage. They came up to me, and I thought, "Oh, I'm dead. And they said, "We're the Outlaws. We really like that song you wrote, Ladies Love Outlaws." And I did not tell them that I didn't write the song. I just said, "Thank you so much. I got to go now."
Oh, wow. That could have gone so many different ways.
That memory has stuck with me over the years.
Yeah, I'll bet it will. Let's play some music. Those of you that are late, as always, don't forget, log on to the website, download a letter from my mother. if she approves you, you get excused for missing the first portion of the show. Talking to Tom Rush, somewhere up in deepest, darkest New England, and we're going to play something that probably spins back a few years, but then so does he. And there's a funny story that I have as to why I have a song that I'm going to play you right now. The reason I'm going to play it is because Tom started talking about playing a gig at the Great Southeast here in Atlanta, and this song has a lot of Atlanta references in it. It's called On the Road Again.
Parents, if you're looking for a youth sports program in a safe environment, registration is now open for the Say Yes to Sports after-school program. Yes offers virtual and in-person daily sports programs for the Atlanta middle school youth. Programs include yoga, African dance, and basketball training. Yes also offers youth horseback riding, gardening, and cooking classes. For more information, the web address is yescsph.org. That's yescsph.org, or by phone 404-691-5187. This is another public service announcement from your station for progressive information, WRFG 89.3.
Said goodbye to Boston town, Mass Turnpike to Route 15. You take me on down to the New York scene. Hum another ties, it sure is pretty. Think about the women in New York City. On the road again. Now I can't stop more than just a few minutes, baby, make love to you. Hey, 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 on the road again. You take the Holland Tunnel to the Jersey Pike. You roll through Philly in the middle of the night. I'm on the road again. I went downtown D.C., running all around town, trying to find a little lady, hit me when I'm down. Nobody answers, ain't anybody home. Gotta grab me a cab, get the ball them off. She got great long hair, big old smile, great long legs that drive me wild. And hey, I'm on the road again. Now I can't stop more than just a few minutes, baby, tell you about my love for you. Hey, 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 I'm on the road again. Now I hate to go, I just can't stay. Gotta make it to Atlanta by the break of day. And hey, on the road again. Hey, 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 on the road again. Georgia Patrol, hot on my trail, hit the Florida line, moving special air mail. The Sunshine State, it sure looks sweet. Put the Georgia Patrol back upon the beat. Put her in overdrive, rolling down a turnpike, listen to the whistling of the wind, feeling just like hey.
So, On the Road Again by Tom Rush, I discovered by accident. I had booked Canned Heat to play here about 14, 15 months ago at the Vista Room, and Skip Taylor was on the phone, and I said, is there one version or another that you prefer me to use in the promotion? And I put On the Road Again in my YouTube header, and up came Tom Rush, no Canned Heat. So I thought, what's going on? What is this? And that's how I ended up playing that song. Didn't know it existed. It was pure error on my part, but works perfectly for what we were talking about.
There you go, a happy mistake.
Yes, I love those. But then, it's very hard to pin down. You've covered so many people before they were stars, people like, Joni Mitchell and stuff. Before anybody knew who they were, you were playing their songs, and then simultaneously over the years, people have covered you. So a lot of people know the music. In London, I will tell you, everybody knows the song No Regrets, but all they relate to is Scott Walker,
right,
because it was a huge, huge hit there. So there's things like that trip you up everywhere you go, where your name weaves in and out of 55 years odd of musical history, which has to be pretty cool. And it's also interesting how many fans you have that are stars. You know, people like James Taylor and Garth Brooks. So you got a pretty high pedestal to sit on there.
Well, I tried not to get dizzy. I don't know quite how all this came about. I wasn't looking to influence or discover anybody. I just wanted to meet girls, Bob. And,
oh, you too?
Yeah, everybody. I mean, anybody that says different is lying.
That is it. Well, somehow in your sordid travels and your goal, you tripped over and created a lot of other stuff that went down really well. Tell me something. Are you still doing that Symphony Hall thing where you have stars and unknown people and you get together and do a big show, people like Bonnie Raitt and then people that nobody's heard of? Yeah, I know you kicked it off again in 2012. Is that something that you're still going to do?
I'm still going to do it as soon as I can. I did have a big show, not at Symphony Hall, but at the Wang Center in Boston, which is about twice the size of Symphony Hall, for my 80th birthday, which is coming up. And Garth Brooks was going to participate, and I was hoping to get Emmylou Harris and Jackson Browne, a bunch of people. But because of COVID, it just shriveled up and blew away. So I'm not sure if we're going to try to do that later down the calendar when things open up again, or maybe I'll just delay. I won't have a birthday. That's it. I won't get any older.
There you go.
Until I can do that show.
Well, it seems to me that so many of the huge festivals that I've had to drop out of in the last 10 months are all getting very comfortable with October, because by then they're going to have rules and regulations like, you've got to show a copy of your vaccination, or maybe we'll all have a chip in our arm that will let us in the gate, and proof of a recent test. But it could also be that they've destroyed it by then. Who knows? But there's a lot of confidence in October. So, yeah, if you get to do it, that would be a terrific event to pull together again. What about the label? The Nightlight, do you still have that?
I'm sorry, say it again. Nightlight?
Yeah.
Yes, it's my own little label that barely exists. I've got, I think, 3 titles on my own little label. But I decided a while ago that I would actually make the next couple of albums, one called What I Know, and then the Voices album that you've referenced, I've made with a label called Appleseed, because Appleseed actually promotes the products they put out. They hire a publicist, they get a radio promo person, and they get it out into the world. I don't have the muscle or the expertise or the staff to do that kind of stuff. So my little label, basically, unless you come to a show of mine, you don't even know these things exist. So I've gone back into the, basically paying more per copy for the CDs that I get, but getting some visibility.
Yeah, you get the whole back room that goes with it. So that makes sense. I agree. What's your favorite way to perform? We talked about Eddie's Attic. We talked about Symphony Hall. I've heard you play songs where you've obviously got a significant band with you versus solo. Do you have a preference?
My preference is the variety. I'm asked this question sometimes, and I say I really enjoy playing the very small places. I occasionally play places with as few as 80 seats. And then I love playing festivals with 10,000 people, or someplace like Symphony Hall with a couple of thousand. It's the variety that I enjoy. Having said that, I have to inject that the audience is always different. There's a lot of variety in audience, and I used to play clubs I do a 2-week stint at a club, and every night the audience would be totally different. Same town, same weather, same demographic, largely the same songs, and the audience would be totally different. So that's what keeps me on my toes and keeps me having fun with this.
I've never been able to figure that out. I have on a couple of rare occasions stayed for 2 shows for an artist. And you're right. I don't know whether it's the different time, whether it's consecutive nights or whether 2 shows a night. But luckily, guys like you know how to tailor the content to suit, what people want to hear based upon what's going on around you. And, different demographics is strange for the same town and same capture area. But, yeah, it will keep you on your toes for sure because you've got to change.
My secret method, Bob, is after the first few songs, the audience takes on a single personality, and I play the show to that person. And it may be 80 people or it may be 10,000 people, but it does seem to work that way. They become a cohesive personality over the first few songs of the show. And
that's an interesting viewpoint that only you get to see because, I imagine that it just suddenly all pulls together and you go, right, now I know who I'm working with. We'll take off from there. Let's take off with some music. This is for all those that took their Centrum today, and it's called Yuppie Blues, and I think it had a little bit of interest on YouTube. So those of you who don't know it, you're going to listen to it now, along with 7.5 million other people that liked it when they heard it on YouTube, and you're going to love the fact that it's going to remind you you're not alone when you get up to go to the bathroom and forget where you were going and why there are so many Post-it notes on your fridge.
This is kind of a modern-day yuppie blues. I'm looking for my wallet and my car keys. Well, they can't have gone too far. Just as soon as I find my glasses, I'm sure I'll see just where they are. I'm supposed to meet someone for lunch today, but I can't remember where or who it is that I am meeting. It's in my organizer somewhere. I might have left it on the counter, or maybe outside in the car. The last time I remember driving was to that memory enhancement seminar. What's that far-off, distant ringing? And that strangely familiar tone must be the person I am meeting, calling me on my brand new cordless telephone. I might have left it under the covers, maybe outside on the lawn. And I've got just one more ring to go before my answering machine kicks on. Hi, this is Tom, and your call means a lot to me. So leave a message at the tone, and I'll do my best to try to remember to call you back when I get home. Beep. Tom, this is Gwendolyn, and I'm trying not to cry. But I've been waiting here for over an hour. I thought you loved me. This is goodbye. The voice sounds familiar. And the name, it rings a bell. Let's see now, where was I? Oh, well.
Is how you will find it from, 2007? And a wonderful lyrical as to exactly what happens. You know, when I was in my 40s, I'd hear some stuff like that and go, oh, it's got to suck to be old. Now that I'm coming up for 65, it's like, God, this is just so real. And I got to take more of my brain pills and watch those shows where you have to use math and do the alphabet. And it's like, oh, God, this is pathetic. I'm becoming my father. My parents, every afternoon. In England, there's a lot of very good shows just like that from 4 till 6, absolutely time set for when the 65s and older wake up from their nap and they got to get their brains going. It's hilarious how they are definitely timed for that purpose. And now I get it. But, yeah, that's an incredibly funny, real song, particularly when you just tail off at the end.
Wait, they have brain pills, Bob?
Yeah,
Nobody
apparently.
told me about brain pills. I got to get some of them.
Yeah, I got some. I can't find them, but I got some.
I've decided that my house is possessed by aliens because I will come into the kitchen looking for something and I don't forget what I'm looking for. That's a problem some people have. I know what I'm looking for and it's not there. And I look again and it's still not there. And on something like the 6th pass, there it is because the aliens have hidden it and then put it back.
It's very annoying. Yeah, it's very annoying that these aliens are able to get in. I would grill your wife. Mine has a habit of 3 times a year completely adapting the kitchen and where everything is for whatever she thinks is a very good reason. And I'm screwed for about 2 weeks while I try and figure out which doors are open automatically. Because if I get up in the morning, my first place I go is the kitchen, put the coffee on, get some breakfast. And my hands know where to go. And when she moves everything, they don't know what they're doing anymore.
Well, I have the same problem with the guitar, Bob.
Well, luckily, your guitar...
My hands know how to do it. My brain does not know how to do it. If I think about it, all of a sudden I can't play.
Yes.
But if I just let my hands do their job, everything's okay.
Okay, serious answer. Are there times when you drive somewhere and you don't remember the last 3 miles?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The last 30 miles.
Yeah. See, that's why, your guitar is on automatic. If you don't think about it, the two of you know what to do. What was I going to ask you? Oh, yes. What is what's your favorite fun activity to do other than something musical? Because we know it's not farming.
Right. I gave up on that, or it gave up on me. I really do respect people who can be farmers and make a go of it. My favorite activity, I'm actually having a lot of fun making little sculptures. My son tells me they are maquettes, in other words, models for larger pieces. But I take stones from the beach and make sculptures out of them. And I may actually start offering them on Patreon as a reward for signing up for one of the higher tiers once we get higher tiers. I also use leftover guitar strings and make little, they kind of look like plants, but made out of guitar strings. And that's fun.
Well, that's a cool thing to do. My daughter lives in Dallas, Texas, and has a store there where she creates things and then has parties where she shows people how to paint and create in ceramic and other materials. So she does a lot of that kind of stuff. She put the David Bowie flash stripe across the Queen's face and put that on the wall and stuff like that. She takes advantage of me. She wants the inheritance of her, ability to get an English passport because, she's part of me. And then she goes and abuses it by alienating the Queen with the David Bowie flash. But I don't blame her. I would probably do crazy things like that too. But no, I agree. If you are using your hands and creating stuff, that's nothing to do with that. And particularly, a stone's got to be difficult.
Well, I figured out how to drill holes in stone, and so it's not just like stacking stones on top of each other. They're a little bit more flighty and fanciful than that. But it's fun, and people that I give them to seem to like them a lot. So I'm going to keep doing that, and maybe scale them up. Maybe do some that are, 10 feet tall.
Uh-oh. This is getting serious. Now I see images of folk blues star dies under rubble,
I will get my apprentices to do all the dangerous work.
That's right. You get your team of advance, and they put a Michelin Man suit around you. I need to remind people who they're talking to, those of you that are jumping in, talking to Mr. Tom Rush, who's been writing and playing around the planet far more than the 35 years that he's actually been alive. So we figured out that he's already come back twice. But one of the most interesting things for those of you that care about a book like A Couple from Michael Caine about useless pieces of information, there is a video. He was responsible for the first music video in 1968, 17 years before VH1 existed. So far ahead of your time. Crazy.
It was a fun thing. We did that in London, promoting No Regrets. And it's pretty primitive. It's me walking around looking pensive while No Regrets plays in the background. But yeah, I think it was the first music video.
Yeah. Talking about looking pensive, I did want to comment, and this might be out of line, and you can feel free to have your stage assistant with the white glove reach out and slap me, but the cover art on Voices, why does it look like a police lineup?
I don't know. I got a very talented photographer to come and take a lot of pictures, and that's the one that she and my graphic designer picked for the cover, and I stayed out of the process. I know some other people have expressed dismay that they didn't think that was the best picture, but I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a photographer, so I just shut up. Yeah.
Well, it was the look on your face. It wasn't to do with the shot. It wasn't to do with the image. It was the look on your face. Like if there were 6 other faces standing next to you, you were all told to look that way. And it was just the first thing that came to my head when I looked at the album. So all I know how to be is on it. I learned a long time ago that the truth is the easiest thing to remember. So that's what I stick to. And that's what I thought when I saw it. So.
Well, I will have to be careful going forward that I don't look like a police lineup anymore.
Well, let's just say next time you happen to be personally standing in line at the post office, pull the brim of your hat down.
Okay.
I'm going to play one more song, and then I want one more thing from you. I want you to tell us something that nobody knows, or you think nobody knows, while I play a track called Best Girl, because there are 3 really hot songs on the album we were talking about, and I just think it's relevant because it's coming up to Valentine's, so why not? The more fun and love we can put back into the world now that America has changed direction a little, the better.
Hi, this is Dana Gillespie from London, England, to tell you about the second best way to wake up. Just tune in to UK Bob and his Good Morning Blues show and feel good for 4 hours on WRFG Atlanta.
My best girl, she's big and round. She got a snake tattooed on her good right arm. And sometimes in the night, we'll go dancing. Now I don't dance, but she don't mind. She keeps the time, and if I drink that wine, she'll keep the time from overflowing. She can cry like the rain in the pines at night, ring like a hammer on a 5-pound spike. She sighs like silk on skin. She fits my arms like coming home, and when I'm lost and all alone, she hold me close and whisper about where we've been. My best girl. Not as young as she once was. She's got the scars from the miles we shared. When it rains, she's my silver lining. When it's darker than the darkest night, and everything's wrong, nothing's right, my best girl, oh, she comes shining. She can cry like the rain in the pines at night, ring like a hammer on a 5-pound spike. She sighs like silk on skin. She fits my arms like coming home, and when I'm lost and all alone, she hold me close and whisper about where we've been. My best girl. Oh, sweet baby mine.
Best girl from the album Voices from just a couple of years ago from Mr. Tom Rush, who's now going to tell us something globally unique. What would that be?
Well, first of all, I got to tell you that I wrote that song for my guitar. My guitar has or one of my guitars has an inlay on the neck of a reclining naked lady entwined with a snake.
But that's a replica, right?
It's a replica. The original burned up in a house fire, and a company in Canada started making naked ladies for me. They're sold out now, but I think they made 600, and they went like hotcakes. Anyway, I also have to blurt out, TomRush.com is the way to go and sign up for Rockport Sundays series, a song a week.
Yes.
From Patreon. Something nobody else knows. A Joni Mitchell story.
Well, that's a good one, because I just did a special on her a few weeks ago, or a few months ago now, for her birthday.
I met Joni in Detroit, Michigan. She came into a club that I was playing at, a place called the Chessmate. Apparently she and her husband had been doing a regular gig there, a weekly thing. But she just started writing songs, and she came in and asked the owner if she could do a quick guest set so I could hear some of her songs and maybe record them. And she got up and did 4 songs and just knocked me off my feet. And she later sent me a tape. Urge for Going was one of those songs she sang the first night. She then sent me a tape that had Circle Game on it. She only had 4 songs, I think, she'd written when she came in. We became friends, and I would stay with Joni and her husband, Chuck, when I was in town. And I was there playing or trying to play during the Detroit riots.
Wow.
And I was doing a two-week gig at the Chessmate, staying with Chuck and Joni, and the riots started up. And I was actually on that occasion, I was staying in a hotel. But I went, and Chuck was out of town, so I went and I extracted Joni from her apartment because she was right in the thick of the bad stuff that was happening. And I remember we had to drive down the middle of the street because buildings on both sides were burning and blistering the paint on the car. And I extracted her and got her to a safe location. And then I called the owner of the club and said, "Are we doing a show?" And he said, "Oh yeah, business as usual." I drove to the club, and the National Guard was setting up machine guns in the parking lot, sandbags and machine guns. And I thought, no, I don't think so. And I continued on to the airport and flew back to Boston. I remember when the plane took off, the pilot banked sharply away from downtown Detroit because there was so much gunfire going on.
God. Wow. well, you definitely pulled out a great story, and Joni too. We just honoured her recently, playing the very first recording I ever heard of House of the Rising Sun. Not many people realize that she did that. So, very, very cool. Well, Tom, thank you, sir, for your time, your stories, your humor, your music, and allowing us to have a way bigger picture of the 35-year-old traveling musician that you are, because a lot of us don't know a lot of this stuff. So we are now far greater informed. And don't forget Tom's information about subscribing to Patreon so that you can join in Rockport Sundays and get some very unique songs, stories, and just cool stuff that no one else can get. And you get 8 weeks with, so it's going to cost you $1, and very, very worthwhile. Thank you so much, Tom.
I'm changing my name, Bob, to TomRush.com. I think I'm going to make it legal.
Really? Okay, yeah. You got to make sure that doesn't clash with a few other rushes out there.
Yeah, there is that to worry about.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
No, it's been terrific. I do appreciate your time, and it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm John, inviting you to grab a cup, buckle up, and tune in to Route 66, Sunday morning from 7 to 9 on WRFG. It's a devilish cruise through the blues, jump, R&B, boogie-woogie, early rock and roll, and jukebox jazz.
That two-beat pattern is the music brought to the United States of America by the communist conspiracy to corrupt teenagers, and it's in every rock and roll number.
That's right, we have fun playing all that dangerous music from the 40s and 50s that guys like that didn't want teenage America to hear, plus songs from artists who are still keeping the tradition alive today. So please join us for Route 66, Sunday from 7 to 9 a.m. on WRFG. In Atlanta, we're 89.3 FM. Your independent community radio station is rocking around the world on our free mobile app and WRFG.org.
The wonderful Mr. Tom Rush, a national treasure, an instigator for near on 60 years. He wanted me to remind you, go to tomrush.com and join his Patreon link if you want to hear his Sunday Rockport shows. You just need to subscribe, and it helps keep the wolves from the door for him.
How can she dance like that, still have the heart of an angel? How can she dance like that, still have the soul of a girl? And when she turn up the heat, you can feel the sizzle. And if she asks me, boys, you know I try to give her the world. Oh, I never knew an angel could sing the blues. I never knew the devil wore them high heel shoes. Turn up the music and turn down the lights, telling your boys she's gonna dance all night. Play it loud, drive it fast. If the brakes don't work, just hit the gas. How can she dance like that and still have the heart of an angel? How can she dance like that and still have the soul of a girl? And when she turn up the heat, you can feel the sizzle. And if she asks me, boys, you know I try to give her the world. Go on now.
And one of my heroes would have been 85 this week. It was Groundhog Day on Monday, so we got to throw in some Tony McPhee. And Hilton Valentine, the original lead guitarist from the Animals, died a few days ago at age 77. I think he lived on the Catalina Island off the coast of California. And there's nothing more iconic than that introduction to House of the Rising Sun, which I'm told is more difficult than it sounds. So everybody stay safe. Don't forget to swab your butt if you think that's more effective But don't stop wearing your mask anyway, and get your shot any which way you can. And I will see
Wanna buy a new car, but the price ain't right. Ain't that cold? Be a damn sight cheaper, yes it would. Start riding a bike. Listen, they're making milk out of powder. Yeah they are. Got the babies crying. Poor baby, they know what that stuff is. Rent's gone up higher, yes it is. Got the parents lying. Lord, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Make you wanna run for cover, yes it will. And if you look, you will discover, yeah. Lord, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Oh! Good God. Listen, got to go to a disco to throw your troubles away. Dance to the music, yeah, that the DJ play. Well, alright. And then the lights come on, yeah, like you knew they would. Ain't that cold? Gone home and face the music that don't sound too good. Ain't that cold? Listen, Lord, it's a real motherfucker. It'll make you wanna run for cover, yeah. And if you look, you will discover, yeah. Lord, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Ow! Too cold. Cold-blooded, cold-blooded, I'm telling you the truth. Let me stop here at this gas station. Give me 3 gallons of low lead. Can't afford nothing else. I better stop and get 2 hot dogs and a strawberry soda. It's a real motherfucker, yeah. Lord, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Woo, it's a real motherfucker, yeah. Now don't you know it's a real motherfucker, yeah. It's a real motherfucker, yeah.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was baby, do you understand me now? That sometimes I seem a little mad, but don't you know that no life can always be an angel? And when things go wrong, I seem a little mad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. You know, sometimes, baby, I'm so carefree with a joy that is hard to hide. Then sometimes seems all I have to do is worry. Then you're bound to see my other side. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I seem edgy, I want you to know that I never seem to take it out on you. Life has its problems and I get my share, but that's one thing I never need to do, 'cause I love you. Oh, oh, baby, I'm just human. In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine, people tell me it ain't no use in trying. My little girl, you're so young and pretty, and one thing I know is true, you're gonna die before your time is due. See my daddy in bed is dying, see his hair turning gray. He's been working and slaving his life away. I know as he's been working, yeah, every day, slaving his life away. He's been working, baby.
My chest is a 36, my overcoat is for a 42. My trousers been 6 inches from the ground, 3 inches from my shoe. Tied up with a piece of string and held together with peaceful glue. Call me the Sesame Man, I don't believe I am. Call me the Sesame Man, I don't believe I am. My bed is a bark bench jammer, sheet and blankets on newspaper pages. The people think I'm crazy, but I know I'm wiser than all the sages.